In this video, we're going to talk about the structure of an atom and its smaller parts. When I ask students to tell me what they already know about atoms, I get they're small, they're microscopic, they're smaller than microscopic. I also get drawings that look like this, but a lot of times people can't explain what those parts are. So today, you get the treat of my beautiful artwork because we're going to build an atom on the board piece by piece. First, we're going to start with positive particles. Those positive particles are in the core, or the nucleus of an atom. They have a name. They're called protons. Protons are positive. That's not the most important part. Knowing how many protons are in the core, or the nucleus of an atom, actually allows us to determine which element that atom is. So in this case, we have 4 protons, and if you looked at the periodic table and found the atomic number 4, it's beryllium, so this is going to be a beryllium atom. If it had 107 protons, it would be borium. If it had 99, it would be einsteinium. If it had 118, it would be oganesson. It helps us to figure out what element we're looking at when you know the number of protons. But protons have a positive charge and they push each other away. So we have these other things also in the core or in the nucleus. And these are called neutrons. Neutrons have a neutral charge or no charge at all. Together, the protons and the neutrons make up the nucleus. Now, the word nucleus you may know from life science. In a cell, the nucleus is the brain or the control center. It's what tells all the organelles in a cell what to do. That's not how this nucleus works. Atoms are not living organisms. We look to the nucleus or the core to determine what element we're actually looking at. So this is the nucleus. This is where the mass of the atom is concentrated. That's where almost all of the mass of the atom is. This is the heaviest part. But we also have other parts. Here, we have these teeny tiny things called electrons. And electrons have a negative charge. That's important. It's not the only thing that's important. So electrons have a negative charge, but they're the most energetic part of the atom. So they zip around and zip around and zip around, and they hang out in these places called electron energy levels. So this is the first electron energy level because it's closest to the nucleus. This is the second. The bigger an atom gets, the larger the number of protons, the more energy levels we actually have in that atom. This atom has 4 electrons, and that's important. It has 4 electrons and it has 4 protons. That's because atoms are neutral. So if you have 4 positive charges, you have 4 negative charges, and that balances out and makes a neutral atom. Now this entire space where the electrons hang out is called the electron cloud. And that makes sense if you think about when you see a fan that's on a high speed. You can't really see through it, but you kind of can. It looks like a cloud. That's what this would look like if we could actually see the electrons zipping around. Now, one more thing that doesn't have to do with the structure of an atom, but to make sure we don't get confused. There's this other word called molecule. And sometimes people get confused between an atom and a molecule. An atom is the smallest part of an element. So if you have an atom, it's going to be something that you can recognize on the periodic table. It's going to be gold or silver or hydrogen, oxygen, argon, krypton, whichever element. When you have a molecule, it means that 2 or more atoms are combined to make something different. So when we look at H2O, this is a compound. There's 1 oxygen atom and 2 hydrogens, and they're combined to make a new substance. That looks like this, with 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. That is a molecule. it means that two or more atoms are stuck together. And here we have just one single atom. I'm hoping that that makes it clear what the parts are and what you need to know. And I hope I was impressive with my artwork.